Hello, and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, a transfer special. We are here to talk about the transfer of our latest signing, Willian. Here with me today, I have Daniel, the GFP. Hello, Daniel.
Present and correct, sir.
And I also have the man whose moustache is less said about it, the better. It's Josh.
Hey, Karl. It's a lucky moustache. Everybody else can go to hell.
Oh,
you tell them.
We've both got moustaches too, Karl.
Yeah,
we don't go on about ours. Ours are manly ones.
That's right. You tell them. So we've just signed Willian, an ex-Chelsea player, another ex-Chelsea player on our books. There seems to be a lot of transfers between us and Chelsea. The last two we had, the last one we had wasn't, well, I guess the jury's still out about Luiz, and the one before that, which was Petr Cech. Well, I think the jury's again still out about Petr Cech, to be honest. But the latest signing, Willian, he is Brazilian. He is 32. He technically plays as a winger. Well, he did play as a winger for Chelsea. Whether he'll play for a winger for us is another thing to get to be seen. But Josh, when you heard the news that we was going to sign him, or the build up to when we was going to sign him, what did you think?
I didn't want him at all. To be honest, I'm pretty sure I went kind of livid on him. That I didn't want a player like him or a player like Coutinho in our squad. I've never really seen the true value of Willian as a winger. His numbers, which Danny I think will go on to, nothing short of average, I think. So it wasn't really a player I was looking forward to joining us, but perhaps it's a sign of where Arsenal Football Club are at the moment.
Yes, I tend to agree with you. Danny, when you heard about the signing of Willian, what did you think about it?
Well, we've not had enough people called William at our club, and then I was corrected and said it's Willian. I thought, oh, that sounds like the Chelsea player. And I said, yeah. And then when I had a look, and I thought, bloody hell, this bloke's brilliant. Look at all the goals and all the assists he gets. And then someone pointed out to me quite loudly on Twitter, he's a penalty merchant. And I said, yeah, but I suppose so. Penalties and free kicks and all that other stuff, and I don't want him. Like I didn't want Arteta as manager, and then I put myself in my place, and I remembered Arteta's the manager. Arteta is the new Wenger, and if Arteta wants him, I want him, and I'm glad he's at the club. Karl, how did you feel?
I'm kind of like Josh. I think there's better players out there than Willian that we could acquire. Yes, he was free. And I guess it's something that we'll talk about now, the wage. I think you're looking for experience, and he's got it in abundance. I give you that. He's a very good winger. He runs. But I just don't think that he was going to fit the mold. I do think that there are younger players out there better than him. I think that we could have scouted the world market and found someone much better than him. I think us buying 32-year-old players who, yes, I give him his credit at Chelsea. He, is fairly injury-free to the best of my knowledge. I'm not a Chelsea fan or anything, but...
No, you're right. He did 42, 49, 49, 41, 55, 56, 45, and it should have been 46, but he didn't play in the FA Cup final because we were having him.
And I think that's, as a sign of a player who can play that many games, I think that's very, very good. However, when you ever get to the wrong side of 30, you do have a little bit decline, and plus he's come to Arsenal. So obviously his injuries are 100% going to start happening, aren't they? Because it's Arsenal, isn't it? Unfortunately. Danny,
yes.
Where do you... Okay, let's talk about the signing. So obviously, the conspiracy theorists will say he's a key disruption player, and we've got another key disruption signing.
We decided last night, Karl, just to call him Kia.
Oh, okay, Kia. Do you think that's got anything to do with how we've got him? I mean, you must have called us Kia FC, the amount of players that we're signing from this agent. But do you think that had any influence on us signing him?
Well, as Legros said in his magnificent blog, somewhere in Arsenal, there's going to be a room with Kia's name on the door or something along those lines. I was just looking at his wages. At Chelsea, he was on £7.2 million a year. Times that 3 years, that's 21.3 million. For us, it's 35 million. So I know we didn't pay anything for him, and Chelsea paid 30 million quid for him. But it's I think this could be the last one of the legacy of Raul and Kia with the players they bring to the club. Coutinho is another player. If people didn't see the show that me and Josh did last night, then congratulations. But maybe go back and have a little look. Only listen for the good bits. So that should take you 3 or 4 minutes to get the juicy bits of information. But we come to the conclusion that there's been a lot of players coming this direction, mainly because the friendship between the agency, between Kia, between Raul, and all the other, the little circle, the little solar system of all the bodies and all the agents all around each other that are all going, yeah, you buy him, and then now you buy him. You look at the number of times Luiz went Chelsea, PSG, Chelsea, and then Arsenal, and then all these other ones moving in the same kind of circles. So I think this new Tim Lewis bloke is going to get to the bottom of all of this, and this could well be the last one that we see. But he looks like a decent player, like you were saying. He's had what? He's 32 now, so he's had 17 years worth of injuries, all going to come at once now, because I don't think he's been injured much during his entire career. But yeah, it's definitely linked.
I mean, I think so. I mean, Josh, do you have any problem with how much we're paying this player? I mean, he's 32 years old, and I think. Well, the Twitterati, they're the ones that obviously know everything, but I think it's in excess of literally 100,000.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of numbers flying around. 100,000 was one of them. The other one I saw was something like 250 grand a week. If it's closer to the 100 grand, then I kind of think, you know what? I think as Archie said in the chat box, would we be moaning, or would I be moaning if we'd signed a defender and a midfielder beforehand? Danny's just highlighted it for anybody who is watching. I think that's what it is I don't really see where Willian fits into us. He's not good enough to play on the left wing. We've got Aubameyang there at this moment in time. If the plan is to play him in the midfield centrally, then yeah, I could see him working as an 8. And the fact that his numbers from the wing aren't that great, you know what? We can get away with someone not performing as well in the kind of middle of the park. You don't expect a midfielder to give you more than 5 to 8 goals a season, really. And
unless you play for Arsenal, then it's no more than 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I'm kind of trying to find the positives out of this move, and that's where I'm looking for them, Karl. But what about you in terms of the money?
I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to quote John and just say it's not my money, spend it how you want. But sometimes you got to look at it and say, are they spending it wisely? And it goes back to my point where, are you telling me there was no other player in the world that we could get that's better than Willian and we could pay the Willian wage to? I mean, yeah, you talk about Premier League experience and what he brings to the side. Yeah, you're right. He is going to bring Premier League experience. He is going to bring an understanding of the game. Where he fits and where he plays, I'm not too sure. Will he play on the wing? I don't think so, because for me, that's going to stop the progress of Saka. And you've already got Pepe one side, hopefully Saka and Martinelli the other side. So hopefully it doesn't stop the progress of him. And is he going to play in the middle, in the quote-unquote number 10 role, the Ozil role? But we don't really play that. We at the moment, we're playing a 5-3 or 5-2-3 at the moment. So, you know, I don't know where he's going to fit in. I just hope he doesn't stop the progress of some of our players coming through, the likes of Martinelli and the likes of Willian. I still hope, the likes of Saka, I am hoping that Saka gets all the game time that he deserves, because, you know, we really wanted to sign that contract. He signed that contract. I just hope we don't have him just sitting on the bench now. But I'm sure Arteta has given Saka assurances to say, you know what, even though we're signing Willian, you will play. You're still that guy. Like, I just hope that he doesn't stop the progress of him. Going forward, Danny, do you see him playing in the middle? Can you see him making an impact in the middle of the pitch? Because there's no guarantee that we're going to keep Ceballos. So can you see him being partnered with Xhaka in the middle?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm just looking at the transfer market, and they say that he's right-footed, and the biggest place he plays is on the right-hand side. Now, for some reason, I thought he played left-hand side and was right-footed, because then we'd have Pepe, who's left-footed and plays on the right-hand side. So I was all a little bit confused by that. But it also says that he can play in the second half, the top half of the pitch, in the middle of the pitch, and he can also play left-hand side. So I'm not sure a player like that, he'll come to Arsenal and go, I want to define a position for the entire time that I'm going to be playing there. I think he at his age, he's probably going to be more flexible, realises that he's quite lucky to get a move to another big club. I know Barcelona are allegedly interested in him and a couple of other teams. But after he leaves us, he'll be 35 years old. He won't be going to another big club. So he's probably going to be more flexible to where he does play. I don't really remember him playing much in whatever position he played in for Chelsea because I never took any notice of it. But yeah, we are going to need someone who is going to be that kind of player who's going to be able to do what Ceballos, what Ramsey did. Hopefully he'll be able to do what Ramsey did and get up and down just like Ceballos did. But actually, there's a fucking fly in here. But get goals because we desperately need goals and assists from midfield. So if he can do that. But the worrying thing is, like you were saying, with Saka and with Nelson and a couple of the other young kids that we've got, we don't want them not playing because he's going to be playing on those positions. But we all know wingers, when they get older, they tend to drop back into the middle a little bit. We know that Ray Parlour, one of Arsenal's most famous players of the golden generation, was a right-sided midfielder, right winger. Then as he got a little bit older, he moved more infield. So maybe he could be, that's an example of what a player of his calibre could do.
I mean, I guess it's more dictating the play. Josh, do you think that Willian could affect the play in the middle of the field?
Yeah, I think that's where thinking about it, where we'd kind of play him. If you looked at what Pep tends to do, we exclude what he did yesterday, likes to play with like two number 8s in his side, and then a player behind them in a kind of Rodri or Fernandinho. So I kind of see Willian in that kind of position, that if we manage to get Ceballos back next season, we might see a midfield of, Xhaka in front of the defence, kind of dictating play, with then Ceballos and Willian working together in the middle. That's where I kind of see us in a 4-3-3. But until we get to any semblance of pre-season, I'm not really sure, but I don't see him as a winger. That's one thing I know for sure. Is that I can't see him taking the place of either, Pepe or Aubameyang. I can't see him starting there, so he must be for another position.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. He comes in wearing the number 12, and he follows such greats as the last person to wear number 12, Steven Lichtsteiner. Anyone remember him? Or Stefan, I should say. Bloody hell.
You got his name wrong.
We were going to say we completely forgot him, didn't we? I went straight to Giroud.
Stefan Lichtsteiner, Oliver Giroud, Thierry Henry for one season when he came back to us, the great Karl, the old chip master himself, and Lauren as well, wore number 12, and Christopher Ray. I always remember Christopher Ray coming in from when in the 98-99 season, when I think Bergkamp and Ian Wright were both injured, and so was Anelka. I remember him coming in, scoring a few goals. And I've always liked Christopher Ray, and he just never really kicked on and made it at Arsenal, did he?
Do you want some more, Karl? Carlos Vela?
I've said that.
You said Carlos Vela?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, big head. All right, here you go. Steve Bold, Andy Linnigan.
Andy Limpard, David O'Leary. We're reading from the same place, aren't we, Daniel?
myfootballshirts.com.
Oh, no, I'm on Transfer Market.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some good number 12. So Willian comes in and that's his number. Danny, I'll stick with you. Do you see him starting week in, week out? And I guess that's not all depend on the other players that we sign.
Someone made a point here. Formerly Noser says, is Willian done the Black Eyed Peas way, a substitute for Xhaka? Now, I think that's what maybe Josh was hinting that he could possibly be. And I think that would be an ideal position for me, because I don't want to disrupt the Aubameyang left, Pepe right, and then Saka taking over from any of them with Lacazette through the middle. I like that. Whether Lacazette stays or not, I don't know. But he would be the ideal thing for Xhaka, because Xhaka he's not a defensive midfielder, and he's not going to get any goals. Ever since they've told him stop shooting from the halfway line, he's not scored goals. He doesn't get assists. This is when someone points out to me that he got a really good assist or a goal, and I'll just ignore it and pretend I didn't read it. But that could be the kind of player we need in there. But we do, like you were saying, Josh, the two number 8s in the middle of the pitch, because if one gets marked out, then the other one can still go and do it, or they can work in tandem together. And that is the only, when you've got a front three of Lacazette, Pepe and Aubameyang, and they're not getting any creativity from midfield. Willian could well be the bloke who's going to slot in there and be the one who is going to do the creativity, and another free kick merchant, which is always nice. That's all I've got to say.
That was to you, Josh, wasn't it? These asked Josh
Was
question.
it?
I didn't ask any questions.
Oh,
No,
I thought you said Josh's
kept
name.
going. He did,
Sorry,
but he just kept going.
I know. For me, I think it all depends on the players that we have. Like Josh said at the beginning of the pre-season, I think, whether Lacazette stays or goes, I mean, there's still no guarantee that Aubameyang's going to stay, to be honest. So I think what will be determined is the players that he has playing around him. Like I said, I don't really want to play him playing on the wings to stop the progress of all the players we've got coming through. But I think it does depend on whether Ceballos definitely does stay or not. I mean, Ceballos, I think under Emery he wasn't very good. But as soon as Arteta came along, he started dominating midfields and started doing what we want him to do, like going beyond the last defender and being the number 8 that we really, really want to. I still remember the one goal he scored against, I want to say Sheffield United in the FA Cup. The winner, yeah, it was the winner. So, yeah. Do you see Willian being more of an impact sub, Josh?
It's a great question. I think it does depend on if we see him as like a central midfielder or as a winger. I think if he's a winger, impact sub, definitely. And the reason we've got him in is, to help the young guys get through to the first team rather than, using him to kind of block out a position. The experience he can give to the likes of Reiss Nelson, Saka, Martinelli as well, in terms of how to play on the wing, especially in the Premier League. And one thing I've got begrudged from him is the number of medals he's won as well. He's got, a Champions League with Chelsea, maybe 2 Champions Leagues? No, they've only got 1, haven't they?
Yeah, they've only
with Chelsea.
got one.
Got it in bloody French, Josh. I can't help you.
A couple of FA Cups.
I'll go back and do it in English. He has got 2 Premier Leagues, FA Cup runners-up, League Cup runners-up, 1 Champions League, and is Shakhtar Donetsk. 1, 2, 3, 4 league titles, 3 cups. So yeah, you're right. He's not done too bad.
Not done too bad, and at national level, he's done well as well. So I think I've got a feeling he might come in as a number 8 for us. That's where I'd see him kind of start for us, whilst we kind of bring through some more midfielders. We've got Joe Willock as well, who I think does have a future with us. He needs, he's inconsistent. Let's put it that way. So we need someone who. We know Willian isn't necessarily as good as like a peak Willock or a peak Ceballos as an option in there, but he's someone that's going to give us a consistent performance.
I tend to agree. Do you think that he's going to... I guess by the time his contract ends, he's got a 3-year contract. I'll stick with you, Josh. Do you think that contract was a little bit too long to give a player of that caliber and that age? Or do you think we had to give him that contract for him to sign with us so he's guaranteed to get that sort of money for 3 years? Because it's not like that hasn't tripped us up in the past, has it?
I think we're looking in too much into the length of contracts, or at least when we're thinking about the length of contract, we're now expecting to have that player for that many years or that many seasons, and we know football contracts now don't mean that at all. That we'll look to, if you want to sell a player on, you don't want another Aaron Ramsey situation. You want them to have loads of time on their contract. So if you do need to get rid of them, you can. Danny,
I misread it. He won the Europa League, not the Champions League.
There we go.
Thank you for that. Bulgarian.
Bulgarian, yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I did say it was in French.
That's true. It was a European Cup. But yeah, that's what I kind of... where was I? Danny, you've derailed my point.
I put my hand up and I was polite.
Oh, length of contract. Yes, so the same with Cedric as well. That his contract is, 4 years?
Yeah, he signed the 4 year.
We gave him, and he was 28, so 32 by the time that contract comes to an end. Well, by then, for like another 2 seasons, if we get 2 seasons out of Cedric, I'd look to then sell him to someone like Sporting Lisbon for 5-6 million. Get some money out of him. I think it'll be the same with Willian. Playing for 2 seasons, maybe even just 1 season, and then someone else will come in for him.
So where has he played for Chelsea? He's not always played as a winger, has he? Has he got I should have a look at the transfer market.
His history playing centrally, I believe, is at Shakhtar and Angie, that one, the one that went in Russia. I can't think of a game, but it's across 7 seasons at Chelsea of where he played centrally. It was mainly rotation with Hazard and Pedro, and that's where it's mostly been at that time. I can't think of another time where but it's mostly on the wing. I can't remember any time him playing number 10 for Chelsea, though. Sorry, Karl.
So go on, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say Chelsea didn't play with a number 10 on the top of my head. When he had come in 2013, I'm pretty sure Fat Frank would have still been in that midfield. And then they had Eden Hazard, and Hazard would have played centrally. And he played as a false 9 under Sarri. And that's Hazard, that is. And Willian was out on the wing. So, I think winger, or we might see him at a number 8 and just start bringing him inside.
I found the answer. This season for Chelsea, right wing, 22 games, 6 goals, 7 assists. Left wing, 7 with 1 goal. Attacking midfielder, 5 with 2 goals. Should I have a look at the season before that, or is that not relevant?
I mean, no, I think Arsenal was lacking assists. I think our midfielders were not the best in, I guess, releasing the ball to our strikers. And I think Willian will bring that. I think he will bring a new creative sort of mentality, because I guess the creative midfielder we've got, he's out of flavour, and I can't see, well, for the foreseeable, he's not going to be playing for us. So Willian definitely brings a more creative element to the squad, which I think we need, because we have players that are very good around us. But I think, you look at our centre midfielders currently at the moment, Guendouzi, I can't see him ever playing for Arsenal again. And even when he did play, he didn't bring anything to the table. No assists, no goals. There's Xhaka, who, he's brilliant at distributing, breaking up play, but, very rare did he have an assist, and very rare did he score. So Ceballos, for all his effort and will, he tried, but he didn't score that many goals. So I guess creatively in the centre midfielder, we just need something new, and maybe that's what Willian brings to us.
Looking at last season, he played 50% of his games on the left wing and 50 on the right wing. And then, 17-18, attacking midfielder, he played 21 games, 5 goals, 7 assists, and then he played second striker 5 times and right winger 7. So that was only 2 seasons ago. He was playing in that kind of second striker attacking midfielder role.
I mean, let's hope that his performances that he had for Chelsea. I mean, I can remember some of his free kicks, that's for sure. But anything else, I don't really remember, because I don't really watch Chelsea that much. But I mean, in his time at Chelsea, he's done well. He's a player that he's always one of the first names on the team sheet. So, if you're going to be able to do that for Chelsea, you can't really complain, can you? It's
339 games, 63 goals.
That's quite good, to be honest. So as much as I'll be sit here and I can say that I don't really want him. Let's wait and see what he brings. He could be pretty good for us. And like I said, I don't mind him coming into the squad, just as long as he doesn't block the progress of some of our youngsters coming through. And maybe he's just there to kind of teach them, work with Martinelli. He's injured at the moment, and I think they said Martinelli's return is, I want to say, the end of the year. Did they put it back, or was it the end of the season? No, sorry, the end of the October. I can't remember what they said. I'm sure they said the end of the year because there's a setback.
He says he should be back. No return date. The quote was, "We'll continue recovery throughout the closed season with the aim of a full return by the end of 2020."
Yeah, end of the year. I thought so. So I guess Willian's going to come in and hopefully he'll share. I mean, like I said, we don't know what's happening with Lacazette. I personally would like to, if Aubameyang stays, I want to see him play in the middle. However, if he doesn't, then I think Willian will share that left-hand role with Aubameyang and also Saka. I mean, I can see us signing Willian will make Aubameyang then play in the middle now because he's got.
Does that mean Lacazette will go?
Who knows? He could be the backup striker. I mean, to Eddie, whether Eddie stays or not. Do we think Eddie needs another loan? I mean, that's a time for another show, and we did it on a podcast. But yeah, there's a lot to think about. But in summing up, Danny, how do you think that he will fare at Arsenal?
We are in a time of transition of players that have been here for a while that haven't really lived up to what we need, and a fantastic group of youngsters coming through. And hopefully in years to come, we will look back at the Willian transfer, the 2 or 3 seasons that he was here. He played all over the place. He was instrumental in bringing through the younger players. We got assists from him. We got goals from him. And it was, we look back, that was a decent transfer from them. It was, Czech, you look back at that. It wasn't too bad. I mean, the death nail in his career was Emery deciding to play out from the back. Luiz is another one that is from Chelsea that we look at that and go, well, he's had some really good games, but he's also had some clangers. I think for Willian, there'll be less room for him to make errors, so he will be judged a lot less harshly than the other 2 recent Chelsea pensioners that we signed. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be, he's got creative flair, and I think he's going to be close to the 20th Brazilian who has been on Arsenal's books, which is another thing that I'm going to update my list with. But yeah, I think it's going to turn out to be all right.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
I think I'd give it probably somewhere between a 5 and a 6 out of 10. Probably a 6 in terms of like initial kind of thoughts. So just biding my time, waiting to see what happens, really. Because, as I say, prior to him moving to us, I didn't really see the hype. So as Danny kills a fly, or tries to kill a fly, and doesn't put himself on mute whilst he does it. Ever the professional.
Just Daniel for you, innit? We got some questions. Josh, do you want to take the questions? I'll put in the chat.
Yes. Yeah, I can ask one I'll ask them to you, Karl, because you've been hosting. So from Dave Atkinson, if we play a front 3 of Aubameyang, Lacazette and Pepe, how do you think Saka gets into the team?
I think you got to account that Saka's quite young and he's still learning the game. He's not someone who's going to play week in, week out. And you're forgetting that this is Arsenal. We are an injury-prone team, so there's guaranteed that people are going to get injured. I think Aubameyang, who's a phenomenal athlete, and if he does stay, as much as we want to, we can't play him week in, week out. So you're going to be rotating with him on the left, with him playing up front with Lacazette. So us having options is still really, really good. But Saka coming in, I think you need to remember he's only 19. He's very, very young, so he's got a lot to learn, and he cannot play week in, week out as much as we want him to.
Yeah, that makes sense for me as well. And I think we saw Saka play a little bit in the middle as well, didn't we, in the midfield when Arteta came in, so it might be that we see him move slightly further back as well. Danny, a question for you as well from Julian Salmon. If we do struggle to sign a centre-back, do you think John Stones on a season-long loan wouldn't be a bad idea? Well, yeah. Do you think it would be a good idea?
That bloke is severely lacking in confidence. He was the cock of the walk, I think. King of the walk, king of the cock of the king. There's some mix-up of words like that. What am I trying to say, Josh? Cock of the walk.
King of the castle.
This is when the male chicken is strutting around like he's in charge at Everton, and we thought, yeah, that bloke's going to be really decent. And then what happens? He was a big fish in a little pond. He's gone to Man City. Things haven't worked out. He's got absolutely no confidence. And Man City already, I think they've replaced him once. They were going to replace him again. If the rumours are true, the players are going to be coming in, then he is not going to be wanted. And I don't really feel that. Of course, they can afford it. They'll just get another one of their friends in the Dubai or the Emirates. Am I waffling?
No, just be careful what you're going to say.
Yeah, so going to get another shop there to a sweet shop there to sponsor Man City's training kit for £500 million. That's what I was going to say. I was just thinking of sweets and it put me off. I want to diet. Yeah, so they want rid of him. And do we want a player who's going to have to drop down to playing in the Europa League? Who's once you've peaked and you've made it to the top of the place you're going to make in your career, is he really going to give it his all when he's coming to play for Arsenal? Or is he going to be like a few other players that we've had that are on loan that are going to be, oh dear, wish we hadn't bothered. You should have stayed where you were.
I guess the incentive for that is, if he did come to us, the incentive is he's going to want to try and get into the England squad for next year. And he's got a whole year to try and change Gareth Southgate's mind. And if he's playing regularly, which with the amount of centre-backs we have, I don't think we're going to have anyone playing regularly, to be honest, unless we find a very decent partnership. Obviously, we're going to get rid of some, but the ones that are going to stay, whether he's good enough to play with, I don't know. Do we need any more right-footed centre-backs? I don't think so. I'm sure he's right-footed.
Yeah, no, that was going to be my point as well, Karl. He's right-footed.
Still Karl's ideas. You just messing with yourself. No idea how to answer this question, and now you're saying this.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need any right-footed centre-backs. Yeah. So, to be honest, we've got so many. We've got Holding, Chambers, Luiz, just to name some of them, Mustafi, unless we get rid of a whole load of them, which we are going to have to sell, I would say minimum of 2 centre-backs that we've got. We'll see in it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to do it this season. We've got Mustafi, Luiz and Sokratis all in their last year of their contracts as well. I think Sokratis is off. To be honest with Mustafi, people might hate me, I think he's playing for a new contract, to be honest. Yes, he plays well enough. Yeah, that's what I think. If he plays well enough, I wouldn't begrudge him getting a new contract, let's put it that way. And we've got Saliba coming through as well. John Stones is only going to get in the way. And we've got Holding, Chambers, all right-footed. So there's so much cover. I wouldn't say competition because some of them you wouldn't say are that competitive. There's not a word for it.
Yeah, look at that. Jimmy H has put in there. Jimmy, who is one of the only living human, he can stand up and give himself a high five. The only living human who actually interacts with us on Facebook. We are on Facebook, people, and every time we do a show, we put a post on. I was talking to Jimmy on there yesterday about it. Actually, I said thank you, and I gave him the little heart emoji thing. He says Chambers is a Fulham target now. When Fulham went down, Chambers was on loan there, played right back, centre back, defensive midfielder, and he was one of their best players, wasn't he? So that could be an avenue to get rid of him. We could do with 25 quid. That's one that could go.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't know where else we're going to go from this, are we? Because that was the end of the questions. So, Karl. Yeah. I think we're going to try and get this one under the 36 minutes we had from yesterday.
We can't do that. We had complaints. It was only 36 minutes. Karl, going anywhere nice for your holidays this year?
No, it's fucking the world's for the. Oh, sorry, the world's for the COVID. So no, I'm staying here. I am going to replace my car this week and then do nothing. Watch Arsenal. Try and sign another centre back apparently, but that's a show for another time. So we'll go from there. So I think it's time to wrap it up, I think.
Bloody hell. These people have got all their food out and are in the bath and they're ready to spend a 2-hour sesh with us, taking 10 minutes to get to the bloody point. Oh, that's just me. We're done.
Danny, nobody wants to see you in the bath again. We've got pictures and it's frightening.
It is. Well then.
Well, yes, until Arsenal sign another player, which apparently Messi's leaving Barcelona. Listen, I'm not saying I'm ITK. However, I did call Raul leaving. I'm just putting it out there. And my sources tell me that Messi could be heading to North London. I'm not that side. I'm not. I can't say any more.
Have you been talking to the Arsenal gerbil? Because that person seems to know stuff.
No, but I did have a KFC the other day, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh,
anyway.
What better way to end the show, Karl?
On that note, Danny, thank you. You're always here, but you have to be here, so thank you.
I'm the button monkey, and I am buttoning as we speak. Thanks, Karl.
No worries, Josh. I will see you later, and thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. It's been great to be on and to podcast with Karl again. It's been great after having a 2-hour chat of, well, I wouldn't say a 2-hour chat. It was 2 hours of us listening to Chris.
Listen, that's what I was going to say. We had a little meeting, the main people at ABW now, because there's 7 of us, and the first thing it was me, it was us 3, Chris and Ellis, and the first thing I said, has anybody here got problems with bullying? And Ellis put his hand up, and we told him to shut up and put his hand down. We've made lots of new decisions and new plans, which we will talk about in a later podcast. So you shut this down whenever you want.
Indeed. So I will say thank you to everyone listening. Thank you to everyone watching. Let's hope Willian is a great signing for us, and we'll give him the support that we want until the first game when he doesn't score, and we call him shit, Chelsea reject, and should never have signed for us. On that note, Danny, press the button. I will see everyone later. Goodbye.
#fuck Ellis.
That's right.